Lead Girl, the Be Well podcast is your dedicated platform for amplifying the voices of Black women in various roles, whether you're a teacher, school leader, higher educational professional, or educational consultant.
Join us as we honor the stories of remarkable Black women and share insights from our distinctive journeys in education and life.
Tune in as we explore the topics that resonate with us as women, as members of the Black community, and champions in education. Welcome to Lead Girl, the Be Well podcast, where we amplify the voices of Black women in educational leadership.
We are your hosts, Trelane
and Dr. Mac.
Happy 2026, Dr. Mac. We are finally back here.
We are back for a new year, new beginnings, new things, all things, and unleashing our power.
I mean, what better way to begin the year with that kind of a title, right? Unleashing our power, because that is what we aim to do all the time. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I've been looking forward to this guest for quite some time. So I'm so glad that she is here. We are going to have a time. I just know it already. Well, I'm just going to get with it and let you know a little bit about this amazing educator. So our topic today is encourage to unleash your power. And as Black women in educational leadership, we know that during times of uncertainty, it's more important than ever to walk in the purpose we've been given and to make a collective impact in our schools and communities. Today, our guest is Dr. Royan Patrick Hendricks, affectionately known as Dr. Ro. She is a Chicago native and for the last 28 years has spent time serving in schools and communities around the country. She is the founder and CEO of Dream Education, which stands for Dr. Ro Empowering All Minds Education. Gotta love that. It's a boutique consulting firm that offers comprehensive services in the areas of school leadership development, youth program development, and special education advocacy. Dr. Ro's passion for empowerment has led others to a path of self-discovery and courage to overcome life's obstacles and transformation to live a life of purpose. She holds a bachelor's degree from Grambling State University, and she was a member of the Tiger Marching Band. She received a master's in special education from the University of North Texas and postdoctoral studies in special education leadership at Minnesota State University. She enjoys playing clarinet and has been in various music ensembles, traveling abroad. She's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and she serves on the board of several community-based organizations benefiting youth. Her most noteworthy accomplishment are her adult children, Michael and Mia. Welcome to Lead Girl, Dr. Ro.
Thank you so much, Trelane and Dr. Jocelyn. I really do appreciate you all having me on here. And for those that are joining us, thank you so much for being here. We were just having us a good time backstage with the technology. So that's why we were doing all this snickering and laughing. But thank you so much for joining us. You could be anywhere right now, but you're right here with us. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into it, Jocelyn.
All right. Yeah. Well, first of all, we know tech happens and that's just where it goes. But I really am excited about our topic today. And so as Trelane already shared, the theme for this episode is encourage to unleash your power. And I think that's something that's so powerful in itself. And so what does that phrase mean to you personally, especially as a Black woman in educational leadership?
Yeah, you just really have to understand the talents and the gifts that God has blessed you with. And regardless of where you are, what's going on, those external factors, you still have to walk boldly in what you've been purposed to do. Right. So regardless of who's in office, regardless of what's going on, if your gift is to serve, if your purpose is to serve, and be powerful, right, and to share that power with others and help others discover their power. We have to do it. We have to do it because they need us. you know,
Mm.
help strengthen them. Yes.
That's that I'm just listening to just those few words, and you said they need us. I want you to unpack that a little bit more.
Mm. Mm. Well, there was a time I was not doing well, just emotionally, right? And I've had several people say, "Okay, Ro, this do this. This is how I feel when you do this, and all the talents that you have, not Ro going down, you know." And so that just reminded me that even in leadership, we have to be well.
Mm.
Be well has to be well.
Amen.
Right? Beyond showing up sharp, because you know we be suited and booted when we come to
Mm-hmm.
board meeting and all that, right? But our internal has to be intact, and we have to be healthy and drink water and just really nurture ourselves and those around us. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, Unleash Your Power was the theme of our conference last year, and so I was just elated when that came around, and it's just been a lot of talk about us being powerful, you
Mm-hmm.
know, late
Mm-hmm.
us walking boldly in it and not whispering, you know, about our brilliance and our excellence and
Mm.
the excellence that our sisters possess as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? But
Well, and as you know too, the Be Well's first conference was titled "The Power of Our Presence."
wow.
Mm.
Right?
Wow.
So that's so interesting that those two things, are really looking at that same thing. So there's
Mhm.
something to that in this particular time, right? That there's a need or a movement, shall we say, of us paying attention
Mhm.
to the power, right? And power has so many layers to it and
Mhm.
so many different meanings for different people in different contexts, different industries, right? But but when we talk about power in education and power as it relates to Black women in education and educational leadership in particular, we're looking at something I think a little bit distinctly different. I wonder if you can speak to that piece and as it relates to the work that you do.
Well, I mean, just think about from a historical perspective, right? Teaching history in school and all that youth need, especially our Black youth, all that they need. A lot of it you won't find in the curriculum. They're not packaging it up and selling it to our urban school districts,
Mhm.
right? But we have our stories. We have our own stories. We have our own resilience and how we have got to this resilient place that
Mhm.
we can definitely share.
Mhm.
And it doesn't cost anything to share that.
Mm. Mm. That's good. That's good.
And so when I say people do need us, I like our people need us, our
Mm.
students need us, our Black educators and our educators that are not Black that are teaching our Black students need us
Okay.
to be well and to be powerful, right? To challenge the status quo,
Mhm.
to infuse the curriculum with information that students need, and also just it's so many things that we could talk about, you know, regarding that. I'm just thinking about just a structure of a school,
Mm.
right? Why
Mm.
are you walking down in a straight line? Why are they walking down in a straight line? Where does that come from? Hands behind your back. I remember that when I was teaching almost 30 years ago, and my students
Mm.
are not walking with their hands behind their backs.
Mm.
And I had to show and I had to tell, you know, why that was so important that their hand that comes from the jail. That just
Mm.
reminds me, and a lot of my students, parents, or at least one of them were incarcerated. And I just didn't want that feel for them. And so
Mhm.
after we talked about it on a particular campus, you know, they said, you know what, we didn't even think about it. We just did it because that's what we've always done.
Mhm.
But when you get education leaders in the room and they're used to being silenced, then things will just continue to go on. But when you ask about what does that mean, power, stop silencing yourself.
Ooh.
I
Ooh.
may get I may get written up.
Ooh. But I don't know by who, but not from here.
I may get fired, right? Um, what is best for the people?
Hmm.
Done
Hmm.
on every level in every space.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. That's good.
I think it was just powerful what you just said. We silence ourselves so often, and I think so many women carry vision, they carry brilliance, they carry
Mhm,
purpose, and yet we lack spaces sometimes that will allow us to really, truly show and nurture our
mhm,
ideas holistically in
mhm,
these spaces. And sometimes it may be even ourselves causing that self destruction because of what
mhm,
we think may be the consequence of that. And I think unleashing and giving yourself permission to do that is
mhm,
definitely another way to see, because you're moving with purpose, and then when you want to move with purpose, sometimes you have to unleash that
mhm,
power within so that you can and give yourself permission not to worry what those consequences may end up,
mhm.
especially if it's coming from the heart, or a genuine
Mm.
place
Right.
where you're really trying to make a positive impact.
You definitely have to be careful as you're unleashing, though. There
Hmm.
was sometimes earlier in my career, y'all, I would be unleashed. Now she did say I was from Chicago, right? So a little Angie, right? A little risque
Yeah.
behavior,
We want to pay attention to how we were unleash, right? We don't want to just unleash just to say we can.
You get my point across. You have to hone your craft and hone what you're doing and what you want to achieve,
Mm.
and unleash it with with some refinement, right?
Mm.
But when you are used to being compliant though and quiet, and you just sit and listen and you just follow the rules, you know, over time, what does that do to you? What does that do to your psyche?
Hmm.
What does that do to your mental health when you start becoming very understanding of who you are, but then you have past experiences, past traumas, how you were raised, just wherever you are, to silent, be quiet, don't say anything, just follow the rules.
Mm.
Do to you over time. It
Mm.
almost killed me. Yeah. So never
Wow.
again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it reminds me of, and as I think about our history, and I think about my grandmother, who was a powerful woman in her own right, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't even actually really know if she realized how powerful she was. And still there was this undercurrent of like, you know, go along to get along, except know who you are and figure out, where you belong, in that
Mm-hmm.
you belong anywhere you want to go to, but, sort of keep a low profile, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so that idea of unleashing, of bringing your whole self, like that wasn't necessarily looked at as favorable or encouraged in
Absolutely.
her day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we really have come a long way, and yet still have
Mm-hmm.
so much
Right.
further to
Mm-hmm.
go,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And
And
then
I,
your
I
grandmother
think,
raised your mother, right? So you have your
mm,
grandmother then raised
right.
your mother. So now
Mm-hmm.
she has been raised with that philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
generation or that family member or that whoever that tries to break that mold,
Right.
that's the one
Yeah.
that catches it.
Yeah.
But he or she is doing that for, well, in this context, she is
Mm-hmm.
doing that for the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just out unleashing, just arbitrarily unleashing their power just for anything,
Right.
right? It's
Right.
for a
Right.
cause, it's for something that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about ladies being loud, right? Loud, no, no. But this is what I understand, and this is what I believe what's needed.
Mm-hmm.
My voice does matter. Her voice does matter. And as Black women in education leaders, we have to cultivate those spaces for women, our staff members, whoever we're around, to embrace and encourage them to share what they think, what they know, and what they believe, and elevate their voice for the who?
Mm-hmm.
People. That's my thing. I would say for the people.
Oh gosh, I love that.
Hmm?
Jocelyn, you want to do the next one?
Well, yeah. So, I did not have the pleasure of joining you ladies recently, but you had this exciting event that happened, the experience for women in leadership in Dallas, and but I did have the pleasure of participating the year prior, so I wasn't able to be in person with you and Trelane. So, I wanted to ask, like, what makes this empowerment event different, and what do you feel women gain from attending?
Um, there are so many amazing conferences and events out there, right? I just want to put that out there. However, the experience for women in leadership um, was in my belly for a decade. It was, and I sat on it for an entire decade. I was, I wanted a space for women to grow and be nurtured, connect, share their resources, and essentially walk away with sisters, a tribe where they can call and write books together, share documents, share resources. And one of the keynote speakers just texted the other day. Well, I actually texted her because she was speaking somewhere, and I was like, "Look," she was like, "Yeah, it's the event that keeps on giving," because she was able to land that speaking gig because she was the keynote in our conference, and
Wow.
I just love that, and so we're very intentional on creating that space for that to happen, and not just come and present and eat, right, and look beautiful and leave, right. You walk away. No, get her cell phone number. Get her cell phone number, not the office number. Get her cell phone number. And I'm just excited. I was just selected to be a part of your book project, right?
Hey.
And I probably wouldn't have been selected if you didn't see me like up close and
Mm.
personal, right?
Mhm.
Because relationships do matter.
Yes.
I could have put down anything on a piece of paper,
Mhm.
right? But the
Mhm.
space is so authentic where you
Mhm.
were able, Trelane, to come and just see what it's all about. And you traveled all the way from Boston to Dallas.
Yeah, I did. And I'm so much better for it. I have to
Mm,
tell you. I have to tell you.
mm.
Um, I
Wow.
it really and truly was divine intervention because I
Mm,
had not planned to go, wanted to go, but had not figured out a way, and a way
wow.
figured itself out for
Mhm,
me. And so I knew I needed to be there. And what I gained from that experience, because it
mhm,
truly was an experience.
mm,
The moment that I got there, I didn't even feel like I wasn't from the area. I wasn't, it was just like people, hey, like, I mean, it was there was no on ramp to, oh, okay, you're from Boston. Okay. And try to figure yourself. No, it was just like, hey, you're here with us.
mhm,
And
mhm,
we are in this space together. And everyone was just so incredibly welcoming and really intentional about connecting. Like, I think everybody really understood that the empowerment that was going to occur from this experience came from intentionality,
Yes.
right? And
Yeah.
so I think that was a real big piece for
Mm,
me, that I left with. And just like you said, I think what you wanted to happen happened at
mm,
that conference, because I walked away with connections. I walked away with greater understanding of myself. I walked away with,
mm,
get feeling more secure in my leadership ability, right? And so, like, we go. How many conferences do we go to in 2, 3, 5 years?
mhm.
And then how many do we go like, oh, where's that paper that I got? Well, I can't find it. So, okay, well, that was a good conference. What did you do? It was really good. It was good. This was not that kind of experience
And
at
that
all.
lets you know it didn't come from me.
Right.
That lets you know it didn't come
Mm,
from me. That came from a higher power. It was just placed in me. And
mhm,
I just knew I better
mhm.
find my way to a drawing board to make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you definitely
That
did that.
obedience is very important.
Yeah.
And so
And
I'm
you got it coming. It's coming around again, right?
In September 16th, y'all mark your calendar, September 16th through the 20th, 2026 will be
Yes.
the fourth annual here in Dallas. And of course, we will have our virtual options. The schedule isn't all the way set, and we still have the call for presenter submissions open, and it closes on the 15th. That's this week, y'all. So get it in. Go to consultdream.com, get your submission in, so you can present. We are so excited to have women from all over, and it's not this particular conference. It's not just for Black women. It's for diverse women. So I just want to make that very, very clear. All women, okay, and not just education leaders, all leaders. Well, why? Here's why. As a consultant, okay, and from being in education in the classroom, campus leadership, school district leadership, that's kind of all I knew. And I didn't know that those skills were actually transferable. Because when I got out and started consulting, I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? Well, how do I do it? Well, how do I do this? You have a background in special education. You know inclusivity left and right? Just like how you provide inclusive practices in the classroom, you can still do that for teachers, for schools, that same mindset. So don't think to have a program just packaged just right and it's one size fits all. Use that same approach in your consulting and your conference. Have a customized approach for that. And it's working. Of course, we've had the tweaking, especially after last year, with government contracts leaving left and right. We ain't gonna get into that. Okay.
And you still made it happen. It's still yes.
But I had to. And so when back to unleashing your power by any means necessary, right? Budget low, make it happen. You have all kind of resources. I got a Dr. Jocelyn, and I got Trelane Clark, and all these different resources. So it's going to be difficult, but it's going to force you to do things that you probably normally wouldn't do. And so even in your role as a superintendent or a consultant or a principal, you look at what you have to do. Don't think about the lack. Don't think about lack. You have so much. You have each other.
Wow, that's
and
good.
So that's what I wanted them to walk away with that idea.
Yeah, that's good.
And we did, and it's back this year.
Yay! Awesome. All right.
And the theme for that this year is vision, voice, impact.
Oh. Vision, voice, impact.
Vision, voice, impact. You got to have the vision.
Love it. Love it.
And then you leverage your voice.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Jocelyn?
Well, you said something that when you said you have to unleash your power by any means, and so I would say like no leader succeeds in isolation, right? And so especially in education, sustainable change is going to happen, especially when leadership extends beyond those walls. Like you said, you have to, by any means necessary, you have to reach out. And so you create, and this is kind of where you were leaning to, and you kind of mentioned, I guess you and Trelane may have talked about this, about collective community impact. What does that look like in practice, and why is it especially critical right now for the success of schools or that we lead, or districts that we lead?
Okay, so it could look several different ways. Really having an honest conversation about where we are in schools. Where are we in our school district? Where are we in our school? And collectively figuring out how we can make it happen from the school district itself, external support, be it consultants, community partners, corporations. So all of these women come together. Government servant leadership, coming in, and everybody putting their pooling their resources together for youth.
That's great. I love it. I think you have this, it's the iThrive Empowered Minds program, and
Mm-hmm.
that's for the teens.
That.
Can you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that program? And that's locally in Dallas?
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
have I Thrive Empowered Minds. It's a program, and under the in that program we have our I Thrive Summits, which are customized. Okay, so we can come into your school. First, it would start off with a conversation about what's needed, and then we create a customized summit based on what you need. Now, the summit doesn't necessarily have to be just for the youth. The
Mm.
summit can be for paraprofessionals, and teachers, the whole staff. School district is just based on what they need. And that's the I Thrive Empowered Minds Summit. We have a magazine where youth um, create content and send it to us. And we actually use that in our I Thrive sessions, where we have partnered with organizations for mental health. So the I Thrive Empowered Minds program in itself is to promote mental health and leadership development. Okay. And not just for youth and teens, but for educators, community leaders as well.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like an amazing program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I guess let's kind of go back to, I guess, protecting our power. So, women leaders often pour, into everyone else, your students, the families, your community, and sometimes we're neglecting ourselves in when we pour into others. Um, so with that, we juggle so many responsibilities, work, family, community. What strategies have helped you keep your power from being drained while still showing up fully?
Prioritizing, you gotta prioritize. You have to stay full in terms of just yourself. I play clarinet and that fills me up. So if that's something that fills me up, I have to include that into my schedule.
Mm.
I have to. If music is just that thing that keeps me calm, if I listen to spiritual music, that those are the types of things that we're talking about, and it varies from person to person, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And we've talked about that so much on the podcast, but I feel like it's never enough. We have to continue to remind
Mhm,
ourselves to
mhm,
find those ways. I was just talking about that with some of my friends this morning. About, one of my friends is going through a lot of transition, and, family members getting, aging and needing more attention and care. And then having a child, a high school child, and,
mhm,
trying to do the family and all those things. And, she just said, I haven't even been for a walk,
mhm, mhm,
and it was just like,
mhm.
boo,
And I always have to
you need
remind.
to go out for a walk. You just, if you
Yeah.
need to walk, you need to go walk, you know? But it's like, and I was just thinking, I was reading something recently about, I don't know if they actually called it that, but like this idea of micro moments,
Okay.
and actually like taking, not sort of thinking about that it's so huge that I've got to take an hour long walk. Like take a
Mhm.
10-minute walk,
Right.
take a 15-minute walk, take a 5-minute breathing break. Like
Mhm,
those micro moments, and they add up over time when you intentionally place them into your calendar and your schedule, to remind yourself of yourself
mhm,
and the needs that you
mhm,
have.
mhm,
So I just share that as something that I'm constantly thinking about. And at the beginning of the year, you started reevaluating, your routines and all of that. And the connection, I wonder, you can speak to this, the connection of doing that to unleashing your power, right? How do you see that connection there?
Wait, say that again.
The
Kind of.
connection between, you making sure that you are taking care of yourself, and unleashing your power comes from that. No.
Well, I I just always have to remind myself that this life that we're living is a journey. And I used to get stuck into these little moments, right? Uncomfortable moments. And then I'll get stuck in that moment. And then that moment will last for a whole year. Or I'll take that moment and make a generalization. The whole sky is falling. No, Ro, the whole sky is not falling. This area right here just needs some tweaking that you need to do, but it's not your entire life.
Yeah.
Right. And so just really knowing that that glass really is half full, right? And not operate out of lack. Understand the resources that you already have in you to do what you need to do. And what helps me as well is accessing the resources that I don't have. I don't know everything. I used to try to know everything or even want to know anything. For what? You got all this brilliance around you. Access that, right? Not just access it, but pull it together, harness it, leverage it, and do something collectively with it.
Yeah. No.
That's where I feel my most whole self is when I'm really using the gifts that have been given to me.
I love that.
Yeah. And so when you think about that, when you think about your gifts and you think about your job, right? Your 9 to 5 or whatever that you're doing, we're spending more waking hours doing that. So that has to be something that's in alignment to who we are.
Right.
So 13 hours out of the day, I'm supposed to be doing something that I was not called to do. You know what that does over time?
Yeah.
Especially when you are very self-aware. And it's different. For those that are very self-aware and understand who they are, and now they're locked into this era of their life where they're restricted in a box. And their gifts and their talents are not, walked out. That's suicide. It is. Yeah. So those are things that I do, Dr. Jocelyn, to some things that I do to help. Toxicity. Stay away.
Stay away. Yeah. That's right.
Don't create it. Don't spread it. You know what I mean? Shut it down. Right. Yeah.
Because it will literally seep in and zap all the goodness out of you. If you're not intentional about saying, no, I'm not allowing that.
And then your mind is clogged. Right. Now you're trying to go into a school and help support teachers, conduct observations, and your mind is clogged. You're not getting the full, and you're not even present. And you're missing it, and missing an opportunity to offer your brilliance to schools, to school districts, because you're stressed out. You're not operating in your gifts. You're not operating and using your talents. That impacts you.
Yeah. So what would be a piece of advice you would give to any Black women in leadership today who knows that they have power, because that's one, right? And then two, to actually say, I need to unleash that power because I've got gifts and talents that I want to share. What advice would you give them that to practically do, something they can practically do to be able to unleash their power?
I would say write that power down. Write your powers. Write it down. And ask yourself, well, what does that mean to you? How does this translate to others? What can you create from this? And go for it. And go for it. Scared, nervous, budget depleted, so much. Pulling resources from it, just doing it.
Budget depleted. I mean, that's real.
Divorced, husband gone, kids grown up and gone off to college, married or whatever, because still that's the part of the journey, right? And so some of these things that we are experiencing are very new to us, especially in our middle age. Right? Got perimenopause going on, menopause going on.
Okay. 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 Mini Oprah. Okay.
No, I'm just saying. You going off on people at work and you writing people up. No, it's not the teachers. It just might be you.
Mm.
You're sweating.
Having hot flashes.
We in leadership, a lot of times we forget, drink water, go to the doctor, take care of yourself, take care of your skin, eat well, don't drink no alcohol. You know what I mean? Just so many different things that impact your performance as a leader that very often we don't talk about. We'll talk about observations, we'll talk about job embedded, right? But that the personal, what we're talking about, because all what we've really been talking about is the personal. But that's what we need to talk about, because all the other stuff, that's so simple, because it's going to be executed through who we are anyway, and our lens and our perspective and our experiences. So if we are unhealed childhood trauma, all these things that we experience in our life, if we don't process that in a healthy way, it's going to show up in our work. We may not want to admit that sometimes, but it does. It does. Yeah.
I would, one thing that I thought as you were just talking is about many of these things are things that we can control. That's a lot of what we've been talking about, right? We can dial up or dial down how much we are how much we are deciding to put into a situation, a job, a scenario, another human, right? Like we can control those things. So the uncontrollables, however, the things that are external to us that are often imposed upon us as women leaders, that I think things that prevent us from unleashing our power. Those are the times where you kind of go, oh wait, what do I do now? You've ever felt like that, had that situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's been a rock, not a rocky career, but I mean it's had its bumps. I've had my bumps and bruises, right? But I wouldn't be who I was if I didn't have those experiences, though. And I thank God for those experiences. I wouldn't be the person that you all are sitting in front of right now if I didn't have those experiences at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be doing the work that I'm doing either.
Yeah, very good. All right.
Well, the biggest thing I that was more of an affirmation than some of the things that you said for me in this discussion was being self-aware. And, a lot of people are in positions or working spaces where they're unhappy. And like the point, 13 hours a day or however many hours a day you're putting into something that just is not aligned with who you are, what you want to do. It can be draining.
It affects retention of your staff, because if you're happy and you're whole and you're going to work and you're leading your campus, your school district, right? And the people around you are nurtured because you are healthy. A lot of times they're not going anywhere. You won't have so much of a retention problem, right? So when we think about just retention of our staff members, of our teachers, of our principals, right? Our principals, I'm not sure if we do a deep dive into what's really occurring when the focus is on us. What am I doing? What can I do as Dr. Royan Patrick Hendricks differently? Because very often we point the finger at somebody else. She did it. It's her fault over there.
Sound like the kids. Sound just like the kids. That's right. We gotta check ourselves a lot in this. That
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah. And allow our fellow Black women education leaders to check us.
Oh, now you just bringing up something else.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not talking about disrespectfully, but
Yeah.
Right.
pull us to the side and talk to us, or even in open forums,
Mm,
just
mhm,
like this, because I'm saying that I'm talking to myself too,
mm,
right?
Right.
Uh,
mhm,
I'm not exempt and have not been exempt. But it is very hard, especially women at our level.
mm.
Baby, we're beautiful. We got all these degrees and certifications. I mean, all them letters and stuff behind Jocelyn's name. You
And
know what?
yours.
It's hard sometimes for us to look at ourselves. I'm saying because we've achieved so much,
Yeah.
right? And very
Mhm,
often we don't want to think that we are a part of the problem, but when you think about problems and solutions, just a part of the journey. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And we shouldn't
mhm,
look at a problem as something negative. It's just something to work through. And guess what? I have sisters to help me work through it. And so when I
mhm.
think about Black women, education leaders, and Be Well, and all that you all are achieving, how many members you all have? How much impact you're making? I
Mhm,
mean, I know the real conversations that are being had and how it's impacting our work, how it's impacting our student success, right? All because we're talking about the truth. We're not
mhm.
sugarcoating, right?
Right.
So as leaders, we're looking at data. We're not going to look at the data that we don't want to talk about. No, we're talking about all the data,
Mm, mhm,
all of it.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, wow, this has been such an inspiring, insightful conversation, and so many different avenues to go down when you're talking
Mhm.
about unleashing your power, because it's
Yeah.
not just about achieving your professional goals, but we really kind of delved more so into like your own purpose, walking in your own purpose in order to do that, and caring for your own well-being, and as
Mhm.
well as building community, because that
Mhm.
community is what's going to ultimately sustain you, right?
Absolutely. Because our power ignites others' power.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And that's really what we want. We are leaders, so we're here to serve. So we're really not here for us. We're here for other people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But sometimes
Yes.
we forget that,
We
right?
forget.
But yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
In every way though,
Yeah. Yeah.
to nurture them to become their best selves.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Well, to every woman in leadership listening today, your presence matters. Your power is needed, as Dr. Rose started this conversation
Mhm.
today. Your impact is undeniable. So we need to keep showing up. We need to keep leading with purpose, and we need to keep unleashing our power.
Yes. And those that are watching, I want you to just write down as an acronym POWER, POWER, on a sheet of paper. Write out something that's going to remind you of your power. What does that mean to you? Something that you can do.
Mm,
Simple things. It could be simple steps. It could be a poem. It could be anything, but something that's going to remind you of your power and the power that you have to empower others. That's what I
mm,
would love to leave you with.
mm. Love that. Love that.
I love
Thank
that. Yes. The power you have and the power you have to empower others. Yes. I love that. And so we want to thank you all for tuning in and joining us and listening in on Lead Girl, the Be Well podcast, where we amplify the voices of Black women in educational leadership. Be Well is a nonprofit organization that's open for membership for you to serve and also be served. And so if you are a Black woman in educational leadership, we are looking for you. So become a member or support us by visiting blackwomeneducationleaders.com and follow us on social media on X, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
Tune in for upcoming episodes on a variety of topics that are sure to be relevant to your personal growth and professional practice. We encourage and invite you to give us feedback or request to join our show. Email us at bewellpodcast@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media at leaders_black. See you next time, everyone. Until then, lead, girl.
Lead, girl. You
Love
better
this.
lead.
Thank you. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to amplify my Black woman leadership voice.
And that you did. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Good night. God bless you all.